Okay, round two. So I've got a slightly different view than you might have watching this video, but it's pretty close. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the first installment in breaking this down. I see I've got to, watching that, I've got to move this shadow a little bit. Just sort of shape that edge a little better. See, it's nice and dark right at the base. All right, I want to clean this up here. So remember from Monday's class, we had just the longer you get into this, the slower you go refining the details. And I think from my angle today, this has got to come off here. Okay, this will be a little higher. I can see now a little bit lighter. Got it set up about the same as I did yesterday when I did the first version of it. And I gotta say, the lemon just looks different today. That's part of this, is that, you know, from one day to the next, things just look different, you know. The day is different. You know, you can have the same object, the same lighting, but it's a different day. Okay, a little more here. Still want some smudging there because I want to be able to stipple with the eraser, create that little highlight. Okay, good. All right, yeah, that lemon's starting to look a little bit, not there yet, but it starts to look a little bit more like the object I'm drawing. Stick with it. I will probably annoy you with my constant reference to that essay, Take This Fish and Look at It, but you got to stick with it and keep looking, and the longer you look, the more you will see. Okay. All right, now this orange. All right, so I need to soften it. This hatching, you know, like this kind of like more linear stuff, it just, I'm gonna have to smooth that out because that is not what that surface looks like. It's bothering me. My tripod's a little bit in the way here. I just need to see that cast shadow. Okay, this is a little lighter here. And down. You know, and I think as we were talking about at the beginning of class on Monday, I think someone, I think maybe Deborah Brown brought up the Ann Paget writing advice, and that is to write, and it's excellent advice. And for drawing, you should draw, and it's something that, you know, might might become a regular practice of yours. It can be, it's not exactly the same thing as meditation, but it has some, I think it has some common elements in that when you get engaged in drawing or any other kind of activity, you stop thinking about everything else because it demands your attention. Okay. Good. Yeah, that does need to be darker. Oh, that's better. Go ahead and compliment yourself when you do something well. There'll be plenty of times when you feel like you don't, so enjoy them. This is a very interesting edge here. You know, I'm drawing that. What really helps me to draw that meandering edge is if I'm looking at the orange. It's got a little bit of blind contour. I'm looking at the orange, I'm not looking at my drawing. And I'm just following the edge as best I can. And I get something that looks more like this, and it allows me to draw it a little bit more like it is. So that's helpful. Okay, at first it's kind of generic, but then the more I settle in and start to shade, I can start to apply some more detail. Okay. And then with the eraser, now I like these old like school erasers, but this is like a white polymer, which is a little different than the pink pearl style. I like these. Other people swear by kneaded erasers. As with so many things, if you get good results in your drawing, then whatever it is you're using the right thing. So I don't have a preference for, well, I have a preference for brands and types, although drawing pencils are usually just drawing pencils. I recommended a real like basic set. You could go nuts. I know I mentioned the, what's his face? Here it is. The, boop, boop, boop. The ebony pencil. It's a little dark. I don't know if you can see that, but it's an ebony pencil, very dark. Blackwing pencils are also quite nice. They make a couple of soft ones that are really soft and really dark and smooth. The downside of the super soft ones, of course, is that they smudge really easily. And so at some point, spraying them, like getting a can of spray fixative. We used to use, Aquanet when I was in school because it was cheaper than the art supply product of spray fixative, and basically does the same job, just puts a clear coat over it. Okay, so I'm getting this, and I recall I follow my own advice and draw the way I was on Monday. Side of the pencil, kind of scribbly, just trying to imitate that texture so that it looks enough like the orange to be somewhat convincing. This needs to come down a little bit there. Okay, yeah, it's starting to get there. And then, from here I am going to just keep on going back and forth, erasing and drawing and erasing and drawing until I start to see a texture that I like. I might need to get into some really, and we talked about stippling, some finer and finer stippling. If you're going to try to replicate that surface of that orange, give yourself some time. It'll take a little while. So patience. If you're going to do this at home and you're drawing an object, piece of fruit, do it in stages. Work on it for an hour, and then take a break. Come back to it the next day. That's I think more repetition, I think, will help. Okay, let's get that. There, so a little bit of a glow. I think that needs to be larger. Okay. Oh, that's good. Hello, Dennis. I think it's time for a late night last call for the kitties here. That's too pointy. Okay, yeah, this is where you can really fuss on an edge or something like that. Just take it off. And looks a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, without the telltale little nub on the end like that, this might not really look that much like a lemon, but oh well. I'll worry about drawing this object and not trying to make it look like anything symbolic. All right, so I suggest if you're going to follow along here, just keep on working on the shading, keep looking at it, and just keep trying different technique. Like the side of the pencil, contour line. Something that I like this, like if pressure, you go light pressure, and then press harder, and then lighten the pressure. You make this kind of like a line that comes and goes, a little more graceful to have that tapering quality to it. So like scribble stipple, a little more deliberate stipple. And also lighten the pressure and make it lighter, press harder, dig in, make it darker. Okay, all right, I hope this helps. I think this part of the orange is starting to look pretty decent. All right, so it's not quite done, but I think I'm gonna stop there for this installment and let you take it from here. Okay. All right. Well, happy drawing, everyone.